look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
So I found an anime that I cannot walk past without talking about it and swearing that I would fix this thing. This anime is called Twinkle Rock Me Nora, a 1989 OVA anime adaptation of the manga called Nora, the same name as our lead girl in the story. I can't find the manga anywhere, but for what it looks like from the pictures, cause it never got a English localization, and I can't read kanji, Nora looks like a cross between a Japanese version of Superwoman and Android 18, kicking butt in space and being a bounty hunter. Also, from what I heard, this adaptation is actually accurate to the manga. If it is true, then at least I got something right. The story of this OVA is painfully simple. Nora has to hunt down an evil wizard that enslaves the planet Dazzle, and free people and dance, I guess. It's nothing interesting, but I need to explain. Nora in this OVA is obviously another Mary Sue character. While she doesn't infuriate me like Rey from Star Wars does, she has little to no creativity to her personality or overall design. I think the creators didn't even bother trying. Her overall abilities are completely unexplained and just thrown into the viewer's face. A lot of the time I was wondering how she could even do certain stuff like stop Ficino's heart or turn people into monsters. Her personality is the typical happy-go-lucky demeanor. She just does her own thing and does not do anything else. She doesn't even have a motivation or anything driving her, she's just there. I despise characters that are only there to make things look cool when the characters themselves are so hollow and uninteresting. Overall look in the anime isn't any better. The whole military outfit just doesn't fit her. I would imagine she'd be way more carefree and wouldn't really conform to a standard uniform. Her color scheme is really bland too, which is unfortunate. Hopefully we can fix her character and make this girl more interesting. Alright, the first thing I want to do is fix her looks because the whole Air Force look doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for her occupation and personality. While she looks cute, I think any character, no matter what, they kind of need to have a design that fits them. Well, even if that said design is pushed really far to look ridiculous. Also, I'd like to note that what she seems like is a very carefree and fun character, and I just don't like how bland they make her colors. Sometimes it's great to have a lax color palette, but this girl needs something nicer. So I took the liberty and created something a little more interesting. First, I got rid of the uniform completely and gave her a crop top and short pants with one-piece leggings and boots. I wanted to give her something more carefree and sexy to kind of give off one, an 80s look, and two, a lot of female characters of the time looked very unique like this, and three, I added better colors to fit her with her being a bounty hunter. I also changed her goggles to be more round instead of making them look like a snowboarder. I honestly think this looks a lot better as it brings out her personality to the forefront and makes a lot of sense for her job. Her powers make no sense whatsoever. She can just use any power she wants when it's convenient to the plot. It's kind of boring when you don't explain why she can do these things, and it hurts the character herself. She seems to have also zero motivation. In the OVA, she's not doing it for money, she's not doing it for fame or anything. Really, the main problem with the plot itself and her is there's no motivation moving the plot forward. The only kinda ish sort of motivation is the wizard guy, but just barely. There is also no answers to why he's evil or what he's doing that makes him evil. He's just evil cause cake. You could make the argument like he's evil cause he's enslaving the planet, but we don't see him enslaving the planet. I also don't know why the little guy came along with her. He doesn't seem to know anything other than why Ficino and his brother took over the planet Dazzle and what happened to it. Because basically he's only there because plot. So I'm gonna fix it really quickly. Basically how I would rewrite this is Nora would go to the planet walk into the bar all the same. After the fight almost getting killed by Fuchino's brother, that's right, she's not going to be invincible in this. She's going to struggle a lot. She follows Fuchino's brother to the base where her target is, and instead of the dumb dancing, she sees all the pain and suffering Fuchino's has caused to the planet firsthand, and she decides like, hey, I'm gonna put a stop to this immediately before he hurts anybody else. Also, she's doing it for money, but yeah, she feels like stopping Fuchino is above everything else, you know. And she also feels the money is like a side bonus thing, so she still accepts it. Then she defeats Fuchino, and day is saved. Of course, it's a long drawn out battle. She defeats him with her wits and not with randomly using his own powers against him for no freaking reason. So that's how that's gonna go down. But now we get into the animation. It's horrible, that's all I can say about it. And I really hate being blunt about these kinds of things, but in like the first few minutes of the OVA, it runs at 2 frames per second, and it's so stiff. It takes you out of the anime almost instantly. The movement is really hard to watch, especially when you get to the several dance scenes of the anime, which also come out of nowhere. The characters a lot of the time look like they are jerking left or right, and they also are making the same exact moves over and over and over again. It's really a sorry excuse for animation as a whole, and you can tell where the budget ends really quickly. Not only that, the faces don't look right, and like the anatomy is sometimes it's messed up, and it's just really bad. And the overall visual standpoint is really unappealing. I got to live it about the animation. I actually remade one of the dance moves to make it look better, given I have no animation experience, but I feel I did a way better job than whatever those animators came up with at the time. This anime is a mess, and I'm not surprised it never got any kind of localization or DVD release. The closest it came to being on Star Cells is being on Laserdisc. It's also crazy to think that the anime OVA before this, simply called Nora, supposedly had better animation in pause, and surprisingly I actually just found it as I was wrapping up my script, and so far it's true. But I think I'm gonna save that for a later video, so soon. But as I was saying, it's a shame that the studio who worked on this interesting piece of anime history hardly put any effort into this anime and just half-assed it all the way. It truly deserves its title as the worst anime in history. And also, I think they should rename it to Half-Assed the Anime. And I actually also encourage you guys to check it out. This historical mistake, just to get a good laugh over how everything that is bad. I'm leaving that in there, I'm sorry. Personally, I like to make fun of it by calling it Ray the Anime Adaptation, but I'd also like to see what you guys can come up with. So, thank you so much for staying out with me throughout this whole experience. I have to thank Phantom Make Productions for helping me with the script, and This Is Bird for making the outro music for me. I really needed to make a proper thank you for that, so thank you. And I will link Phantom's YouTube down below so you can follow him there. I will see you guys later, and have a nice day.